Hey guys, this is Goresh with 5-9 Mobile, back with Minato, and today we are going to be discussing the newest characters added to Dokkan on both the global and JP versions, Ultimate Gohan and Power Awakening Piccolo, who have, stirred the pot a little bit in the community in terms of how they were designed and what they're able to do, more so Gohan than Piccolo, but we'll talk about that as we go through the video. This is just going to be our thoughts on the characters and discussing the pros and cons to them and just, a very relaxed, casual video here. So, Minato, anything you want to say as we get started here?
I mean, it's basically that very, relaxed kind of discussion here. I would like to hear what you guys think about the units in the comments below. It would be really interesting because I know a lot of people are actually back and forth on it. I've seen some people okay with the decisions, but we'll get into that more as we, get into further the video, right?
Yeah, so I guess we'll just start off with Gohan. I know everybody wants to hear us talking about Gohan. So the character's name is Ultimate Gohan, and of course, they marketed him as Beast Gohan. When they showed the character off during Jump Festa, they literally showed the art, and the card art of the character is, like the red line exploding, and then Beast Gohan just appears on the screen, literally taking up the entire screen. So they were really pushing this character as being Beast Gohan, and now that the character is out, we know that he's only Beast Gohan during a 20-second animation, and then you can't actually control the character. So that's the biggest point of contention about the character that people are really wound up about, and I think it's justifiable. But just about that point specifically, I think a lot of people are really disappointed, and I don't want that disappointment to leak into our thoughts about the actual character in terms of how he functions in game, because he could be a really disappointing character in terms of how he looks aesthetically and what he actually is in terms of his form. But in game, it's possible he's this crazy character. But in terms of him not being Beast Gohan, to me, that's probably one of the biggest disappointing factors of this character. Not even talking about his kit, just what he is as a character. I think they really dropped the ball on that. And for people who are really upset about this, I think it's actually just completely justified. There's really no excuse for them not to have just made this character a normal transforming character, or even just have him start as Beast Gohan. Why is he even Ultimate Gohan? Ultimate Gohan could have just been a separate character, and then, later down the line, they could have released a Beast Gohan, or just make Beast Gohan now, and then later down the line, release an Ultimate Gohan. So them sort of marketing him as Beast Gohan, at least in my opinion, was a little deceptive. And I think that in itself was what set people's expectations to be very high, because that's the way that they, built hype within the community. They showed the character off in Jump Festa a full week before the character came out, and then we were all, building up the hype over the past week before he released, and it's oh, he's just an active skill. So those are my thoughts on just the fact that he's not an actual Beast Gohan card. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, I definitely 100% agree, right? That entire week, on Twitter, they had that countdown campaign where they spelled out Beast every day for a week. And it's and then we get Ultimate Gohan is not really Beast. They were clearly marketing this as Beast Gohan, even on their tweets, recently, didn't they tweet the Dokkan event, teaser? And then it's Beast Gohan just right there front and center. And it's a little
Yeah.
Ultimate Gohan. And it's okay, you're not being slick, buddy. But yeah, that whole week, I feel I was really excited. The community was going wild. And it is very justifiable that, we are upset and disappointed at the situation. But I would agree that that shouldn't sway how we really feel about the unit, how he performs in game. I think you really summarized everything well. There's not really anything I could say, so I guess I'll lead into the unit's design itself. And I feel that there is a lot of underwhelming features with this character in terms of what he's trying to do. And it's not really a tight-knit, kit put together. He seems to have key struggles a lot of the times, not only because his passive, he only has one part of his passive where he gets key, which at this point, for a unit that wants to hit 20 for a key, that's not enough on its own. Considering his link set, he only has shocking speed as a link, so that doesn't really allow him to work really well, especially with some of the higher, top units in the game that are basically prepared for battle. There's not really many really good shocking speed characters there. His build up, right, he has to get super attacks, but then his super attacks that are his additional attacks are all additional. Wait, I said that weird. There are RNG chance to become the super attack his additionals, so that could be really just weird. He's not really doing anything I feel too special as a unit. And his active skill, we talked about that 20-second animation of him going beast. It hits so weak because he's not stacking attack. So I feel like there's just so many changes I would make to this guy's kit, because he just ends up being like falling a little flat especially when his guard runs out. He just takes a lot of damage from super attacks even. It's just a little bit of a weird kit. I see what they were trying to go for it, but they held back a little too much, I feel.
Yeah, so for me, I am somebody who historically, and still feel this way moving forward, I really don't care that much about how good these characters are. I care much more about the aesthetics of the characters, how good their animations are, do they feel good to play as, stuff like that. But even for me, who has that mindset, I feel like I just don't feel good about using this unit. And the main problem, which you mentioned, was the key problems and the key issues that this character has. Main issue being his link set is just really, really bad. The strangest thing about this character's link set is they released this character next to the Pan character, right? Pan is obviously meant to help this Gohan and Piccolo, because she gives the buffs to the categories that both of them are in, the new superhero category, as well as additional categories. So Pan is basically giving these characters key and 50% attack and defensive support. But the problem with Pan and this Gohan linking together is that Pan has Saiyan lineage, and this Gohan was not given Saiyan lineage. He was given Shocking Speed as a main key link. Shocking Speed has not been a main key link since the 2nd anniversary. It's literally been almost 6 years since Shocking Speed was like a relevant key link in the game. Well, relevant being like a mainstay key link. A lot of the hybrid Saiyans, a lot of the Goku's family characters in the game are much more built around Saiyan lineage. So it's very strange to see this Gohan sort of not being able to link up with a lot of the characters you would expect him to link with. And, you know, it's even funnier than that is if you look at the new free-to-play Super Saiyan Gohan that you can awaken the base form Glasses Gohan into the Super Saiyan form, I believe they only share one link. This Ultimate
Really?
Gohan. Yeah, I think they only share one link. That literally... And I saw a post on Twitter today, and I retweeted it because it was hilarious. It was about this Gohan sharing one link with that Super Saiyan Gohan. It was like one or two links. And it's like, how are you going to have these characters who are seconds away of each other in the movie sharing two links? Like, it doesn't make... I don't understand their thought process on how they design the links for these characters, but that is the major issue for me. And again, even for somebody like me who doesn't really care that much about how good these characters are, I'm looking at his passive, I'm looking at the way he was designed, and it's like, I would actually change like 4 different things about his kit. I'm not going to go into detail about each thing, but the fact that he has to super attack to build up his stacks, whereas Piccolo simply has to get hit, like, come on, who thought of that? Who thought that was even relatively comparable in terms of ease of getting those?
9-day difference, man. Like, the enemies attack so many times now, and then it's like, even his super attacks, like I said, it's only a 70% chance, so you could do super, normal, and then he builds up like a fifth of his passive. Like, great, right?
Yeah, and then something else as well is like they gave him a 70% chance to get the additional super attack when his key is 20, which, by the way, is not a free amount of key for this character. The biggest problem with this character is the fact that he's relying on getting 20 key for the first sort of threshold of his passive, and then the second threshold is 24 key. I'm telling you guys right now, I have struggled to get this guy's 18 key super attack in many different instances with support on rotation. And the fact that he just struggles so much like that means he's not going to be getting his additionals, which means he's not going to be building up, which means he's not going to be super effective. So it's the snowball effect of his key being the root of the issues for this character. But yeah, the thing with his super is only being a 70% chance to activate. If you're going to make it 70%, just make it guaranteed. Like, what are you skimping out on this for here? 70% versus 100%? Come on. It just feels really bad to not get that additional super, because you had a 70% chance and you just got really unlucky and didn't pull that 70% chance. So it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna alt F4 out of the game. But yeah, there's like there's so many issues with this character functionally that even for somebody like me who typically doesn't really care about how good these characters are can point to a lot of the issues and actually be genuinely upset about this. And the last thing I'll mention about his kit is I think the fact that he struggles so much for ki, it just feels really bad to use this character on a lot of teams, because when a character is not good enough because they don't do enough damage or because they don't defend well enough, you could typically figure out ways to play around it, either, you know, change the setup for them, or, you know, there are ways that you can sort of finagle the team to make them look better. But for a character like this, there's a lot of situations where this character is just not able to do anything that's completely out of your control because he's starting the turn at 6 ki. And if the ki field is just unlucky, then there are legitimate turns where I have not been able to get his 12 ki super attack. And I mean, that's just unacceptable for this day and age. For a character as hype as Beast Gohan, like, what were they thinking here?
They weren't, I guess, I don't know. It's like, it doesn't make sense, because what were they, like you said, what were they skipping out for? Like, why does he have a great chance? What in this kit makes up for that? You know, his high chance to nullify Ki Blast Supers, even last year, like a year ago, we got the tech androids. They have guaranteed Ki Blast nullification. What's with the high chance? Like, at least make it guaranteed. What are they holding back on these parts of this kit for? That isn't his actual kit, right? It doesn't make sense.
It really almost feels like this guy was initially supposed to transform, and this is like the pre-transformed kit that they just gave us as the full unit, almost.
Yeah,
like,
I would agree.
Because you literally take a look at his kit and you just like see exactly where he needs to be fixed. Make the high chance of nullifying a Ki Blast super attack guaranteed. Make the 70% chance to get the additional super guaranteed. You know, keep his entrance animation 100% attack and defense buff permanently. What else? I mean, it just goes on and on. Make his stacking not just super attacks, but just any attack, period. If you make those 4 changes, this guy's way better. He becomes insanely good. So it just, I don't see the light. I don't see the light here. I don't really know what they were smoking here, you know?
Yeah, I don't either. And unfortunate that, you know, this Gohan ended up becoming how he is. I can't even speak, man. Just so disappointing. I was so excited, and many people were too, right? But best case scenario, we gotta wait for some buff, I don't know, some other Gohan with shocking speed orb changers. But like, he needs such a specific unit to help him out. It's so crazy. It's like, do they have a unit like that planned already, or what? We'll have to wait and see, right? I mean, I remember when Tech Gohan came out, he had issues like this. Then they just released like 16 units to help him out. So you never know, I guess. But right now, on release, right? Just,
I kind of wish they would have just made him a TUR. I think it would have been way better for him.
I see a lot of people say that, and I actually do feel the same way. Because if it was a TUR, no key issues at all, right?
Yep.
That'd be the biggest thing. But I think we talked a lot about Ultimate Gohan, right? Right about 14 minutes in. Let's move on to Piccolo, which I think will be a lot lighter on Piccolo as a unit. I think you're a big Piccolo fan, right? I'll let you go first, right?
Yeah, so I mean, just aesthetic-wise for this Piccolo, so this guy starts out as the Power Awakening form. It's in his name, which is very, very good, considering we've pretty much only had Piccolo characters that were called Piccolo until now. So this is finally, they're going to be, you know, changing up the names here. So we got Power Awakened Piccolo. In the future, I assume we're going to be getting an Orange Piccolo, and then we could be getting Orange Piccolo, parentheses, Giant in the future as well. So there's a lot of different Piccolos that we can get from this movie, which is really, really nice for the Namekian team moving forward, and of course for the links for these characters as well. But this character starts out as Power Awakening, and he does have a Giant transformation with his active skill into Orange Piccolo. Aesthetically, I do think it looks pretty good. There are a few nitpicks that I personally have with the animation, the active skill transformation. So there's a few choppy instances, and like the actual Giant transformation was a bit strange, just because that's not the actual point in the movie where he transforms into Giant form. So it's like they kind of improvised there for whatever reason. But I think, you know, at least we're able to play as Orange Piccolo. That's the biggest thing, I think. So definitely a lot less of an issue than Beast Gohan was, but in the future, I'm looking forward to seeing if they do give us a playable, you know, permanently transformed Orange Piccolo that is not a Giant character. But aesthetically, I think he's fine. I think he's good. Anything you want to mention about aesthetics before we jump into the kid here?
No, I think you covered it really, really well. I would say also with the transformation, I know what you're talking about. It looks like a little like framing for the first two. And I saw someone point out the card art itself, the transformation scene of the card art looks better than the actual in-game active, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the like the explosion part of the active skill, it looks like I don't want to dunk on his animations because I think they're actually decent, but like that like 1 second time frame where the explosion happens, like it's like 3 frames or something. It's like really choppy for whatever reason. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, but everything else I think looks really good. So I'm actually, I would say like besides that, like a 9.5 out of 10, right? If we had it,
yeah, no, it's good. It is good
for sure, for sure. But I think that's enough for Piccolo's animations, right? Very just straight to the point. No disappointments there. We could actually use Orange Piccolo, right? Aesthetically, very cool. Now I guess I'll just hop into just using Orange Piccolo, right? I think I want to talk about his active skill. I'm sorry, his active skill is just absurd, and a lot of people consider him like, you know, a top unit in the game just for that alone, because, you know, a lot of people brought him into the Cell Max event where he's boosted, but he just like solos that event, and that event, even the Dokkan producers, you said that they consider it the hardest event in the game still, right? So the fact that he just destroys it just with the active skill is really good. You could theoretically get, what, 28 super attacks? Not that it's going to really happen often at all, but theoretically that is possible, which is pretty stupid, right? Considering you're invincible.
The funny thing is you could technically get 54 if you have 2 Piccolos on the same turn.
You're right, huh? So it's just like, what boss is going to live that, honestly? And then he has like no key issues at all when you giant transform with them. I find it very easy to hit 24 key with them because he's getting what, 2 key per key sphere? That's a lot for sure. That's really, really helpful.
Yeah, and the thing to remember about the key with giant form is if you have a rainbow orb changer on your rotation with Piccolo before he activates the giant transformation, that will actually help him get the key as well, because the rainbow orbs remain, like the key field remains the same as, you know, before you click the giant transformation and after. It's the same key field. So if you're running like Kid Goku, you're running like God Goku, any of these rainbow orb changing characters next to Piccolo on the movie hero team, you're going to have access to a lot easier super attacks with his giant form. Not that he's struggling anyway, but it's funny because it's like, I feel like Piccolo typically has way worse links than like Gohan and Saiyan characters, and it's like this is just kind of like an opposite situation because Gohan has horrible key issues, and Piccolo I feel like doesn't really have that many key issues. I think in his normal state, the Power Awakening state, there are definitely times where he can struggle for key, but the thing that Piccolo does is he has this mechanic where he actually gives 2 key to the whole rotation when he's attacked, which is a really interesting mechanic because it makes you more incentivized to put him in slot 1. So for the characters that are coming after him in the rotation, they'll actually be able to grab an extra 2 key from that. So he's also supporting in that way as well. So this Piccolo is really insane defensively, he's really insane offensively, and he's providing a little bit of support to the rotation. So he's really doing like almost every role. He has the heal in his back pocket, and if you're able to get that off, you pretty much just can't lose from that point. So he's bringing a lot to the table, and I think even moving forward in the game, once this guy starts to get power crept a little bit, he's going to perform really well as a floater. And I actually mentioned this in my showcase for him, but I think when I'm running the team of 2 Piccolos together, like two lead Piccolos, I think having one of them floating could be the move, just because you can't really control when that heal pops up because it's going to be 30% HP or lower, which is, again, it's so low that it's not really something that you can, like, you know, try and strategize to get on your own. It's just going to happen. So if you happen to have Piccolo floating in a situation where you're below 30% HP, boom, like you're at full HP and he's invincible. So that could be a really interesting position for this character moving forward once he stops, you know, being a valuable character on main rotation just because better units have released.
Yeah, and then ideally, you know, what could happen is that if both of them end up on the same rotation, right, because you're keeping one on rotation, one floating, although you would be wasting both one heal, you would be getting both of their damage reduction if they're able to proc that, right? If they took 7 attacks, each of them, right? So that could be interesting where you just got 2 Piccolos that are invincible now, because the 50% extra, the 30% extra damage reduction, which makes them have 50%.
Yep.
I do like this unit a lot though. I see people posting with his active skill buff doing like 16 mil attack stats is going off crazy with his million plus defense guard. What a really, really good unit.
Yeah, this guy's gonna be relevant for a long time, and especially if they actually keep giving us good Piccolos. Like we just got recently the banner unit, Cooler's Revenge movie Piccolo, the STR Piccolo. That is basically this guy's best friend. I mean, they definitely did that in anticipation of this character, right? There's no way that wasn't specifically planned that way. So that's another, sort of positive that this Piccolo has over the Gohan is this Piccolo has a really, really top tier partner character, whereas Gohan doesn't really have that. I mean, you're putting Gohan next to characters that are just good in slot 1 because he pretty much has to go in slot 2. So this Piccolo is just in a much better spot than Gohan is right now, unfortunately, which is, I'm actually okay with that just because I am a big Piccolo fan, but it's really disappointing to see Gohan treated the way he was. But yeah, Piccolo was really, really good.
I think it's fine to be like disappointed, even if Piccolo is better. It just feels like there's such a wide gap in terms of how they perform in game as compared to on paper. It's really, really wild. It's almost like they're just completely different units, right? It feels like that sometimes, even though they have such a similar design, kind of.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, it's funny that they're so much different, but if you actually look at like the wording of their passive, like the first 2/3 of their passives are like the same exact passive. It's like how did you manage to screw Gohan so badly when they have pretty much the same exact passive? It's like ridiculous almost.
And what they did to help Piccolo, which they probably should have given Gohan, is that key mechanic. I think if Gohan gave everyone 2 key after getting an attack, after maybe receiving an attack, or even if he's attacking himself, right? I think that would be really massive for his key issues. And that helps out Piccolo because he doesn't really have like a really I'd say a relevant key link, right? He has the only one transform, which is just the giant key link. So he doesn't have like shocking speed, not even what's the Piccolo Gohan link? I forgot it.
Gaze of Respect.
Gaze of Respect, right? A lot of Piccolos do have that. He has power bestowed by God for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were thinking with his link set, like those two specifically, but I think that key 2 definitely does help, and he still works really well. And he's on a lot of these like weaker teams like Revenge. He's on Rapid Growth, Connected Hope, right?
Giant Form.
Yeah, and he helps that. Oh, dude, the Giant Forms. I was gonna say Giant Form Super Battle Road could be really, really good with this guy, but his active restriction wouldn't really work on that, huh? Oh well. He still would clear it probably, but yeah, it's pretty funny how this Piccolo. I just feel like he's just way better, and he helps so many of these weaker teams. Well, Gohan is on more like the general hybrid Saiyan kind of team. So I'm happy that Piccolo's as good as he is. Again, a lot of people consider him the best unit in the game. I haven't used him like that much, unfortunately, so I can't really say myself, but he's definitely up there with, like, I don't know, a lot of people say like Cooler, Vegeta Trunks, those type of units.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to your play style, but the problem with that is like Piccolo pretty much embodies all play styles in his character. He does a lot of damage. He is probably just the tankiest character in the game, period, like at all times. I think, I don't know, it's close. And his active skill is just like, I don't know, 7 minutes of you just beating the opponent to a pulp. Like you just sit there and you turn auto mode on, and then you just watch Piccolo like just, I don't know, like the part 5 of JoJo, like the people just kicking the guy on the ground. That's literally what he does.
Yeah, that's funny. He just, yeah, I like that meme a lot. Sorry, I'm a JoJo's fan, but regardless, yeah, I like this Piccolo a lot. He just destroys the enemy, and his active skill is like, what can the enemy do against that? They can't like block, I believe, or seal or anything like some of these annoying passive bosses do. To lower your defense with super attack, who cares, right? You're invincible and you just win, right? It's really stupid. And yeah, I really like how this Piccolo is. So that's all I have to say. Piccolo is kind of a little straightforward for me. It's very, very strong. And his leader skill is actually pretty good too, again. The Battle Wits team getting a leader skill like with this Piccolo as a lead is really helpful for that team.
Yeah, and they just got a new Carnival LR too with the Goku. So that's another addition to that team as well. All right, well, I think we've both said everything that needs to be said from our end here on the Gohan and Piccolo from Dragon Ball Super Superhero. Let us know down below what you guys think of these characters. feel free to unload your frustrations in the comments below. We're all frustrated by some of the stuff in this release. I think more so with Gohan than Piccolo for most people, but yep, let us know down below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you guys in the next one.